The entire compound of Hope Rising apartment buzzed the morning the beautiful stranger arrived. She stepped out of a taxi, wearing a flowing peach gown that hugged her curves gently, her skin glowing like she had been carved from caramel. Her luggage was brand new, her perfume expensive, and her confidence untouchable. Children paused mid-play, women peeked from their windows, and men suddenly found reasons to walk outside. To them, she looked like the kind of girl who belonged in a high-rise apartment in Abuja, not their modest two-story building in Enugu. Before evening, gossip had already circulated. Some said she was a runaway bride. Others claimed she was the secret girlfriend of a politician. No one knew her name. No one knew her story. But everyone agreed on one thing. Trouble had just moved into Flat 9. By the next morning, the compound women formed small gossip clusters near the communal tap. Mama Ife, the self-appointed president of the compound affairs, led the conversation with dramatic hand gestures. She insisted the girl worked like she owns the whole world, and predicted she would scatter marriages. Before the week ended, others nodded eagerly. Meanwhile, the young woman simply came out to buy bread, walking past them with calm poise. Her silence only added fuel to their gossip. Her beauty made them uncomfortable. Her pride, or what they assumed was pride, made them angry, and her mystery made them restless. The men in the compound reacted differently. Chike, the compound loudmouth, immediately declared she must be high maintenance. Old Mr. Ogbonna warned the younger men not to embarrass themselves chasing someone clearly out of their league. But secretly, every bachelor in the compound began to dress better, spray more perfume, and suddenly take out their trash more often in hopes of meeting her outside. Meanwhile, she remained polite but distant. She smiled lightly when greeted, but never stayed long enough for a conversation. To the men, she was a dream. To the women, she was a threat. Trouble started when Mama Ife claimed the new girl refused to greet her properly. She stormed from door to door, complaining loudly, twisting the story until it sounded like an insult. Even though no one witnessed anything, the compound women rallied behind her as usual. The girl, unaware of the brewing storm, stayed inside her apartment, reading a small handwritten journal. But by sunset, she could hear the murmurs outside. She already knew they were beginning to judge her. Still, she remained silent, but the storm was only beginning. The children, however, loved her instantly. She always smiled at them, offered sweets, and tied ribbons on the girl's hair. One day, she allowed a group of them into her apartment, where they were amazed by the neatness and sweet-smelling candles. They told their parents how Auntie from Flat 9 was the nicest person ever. But instead of softening hearts, it sparked envy. Some mothers accused her of trying to use sweetness to deceive children. The jealousy became louder. The pride they assigned to her became deeper. And yet, she still said nothing. Rumors exploded when someone noticed she never received visitors, phone calls, or deliveries. Theories flew everywhere. Some said she was hiding from a dangerous past. Others said her beauty was too unnatural, whispering about charms and marine spirits. One evening, Mama Ife confronted her, asking bluntly, "What exactly do you do for a living?" The young woman paused, smiled politely, and responded softly, "I mind my business." That answer threw the entire compound into chaos. By now, 3 men were silently competing for her attention: Chike, Emeka the teacher, and Kunle the new tenant. From offering to help carry her groceries to pretending to pass by her door frequently. But she remained distant. She simply said thank you with a smile and went back inside. The more she kept her distance, the more they admired her, and the more the women hated her. A delivery man mistakenly dropped a beautifully wrapped package at her door. The women surrounded him immediately, asking who sent it. He reported the sender as anonymous. That single word made their imaginations run wild. They concluded she had a secret sponsor, a rich man somewhere. When they found out the package was actually meant for another tenant, the embarrassment should have ended the gossip. Instead, it doubled. One afternoon, Mama Ife confronted her in front of almost everyone. "You think because you are fine, you can be forming big girl? Pride will take you nowhere," she shouted. The young woman simply looked at her and walked away. Her silence felt like an insult, and the entire compound exploded in drama. Even the men couldn't defend her this time. Pride, they said, was her problem. A full tenant meeting was called because of her. Yes, an entire meeting. Mama Ife accused her of disrespect, of pretending to be better than them, of attracting unwanted attention. She remained quiet throughout. When they finished scolding her, she simply apologized calmly and returned to her apartment. Her dignity irritated them more than any insult ever could. One night, a black SUV drove into the compound. Everyone peeked from their curtains. A tall, well-dressed man stepped out and went straight to her door. They spoke quietly, and after 15 minutes, he left. By morning, the story had changed 10 times. Some said he was her boyfriend. Others said her husband. A few said he was a politician. The truth, no one knew. The women became more hostile. They mocked her clothes, her silence, her beauty. They whispered loudly whenever she walked past. They accused her of being proud, yet she never raised her voice. One afternoon, she overheard someone say, "She acts like she's better than us. Let's show her she's not." She knew something darker was coming. Someone spread a rumor that she wanted to seduce Emeka, the married teacher. His wife stormed the compound with drama and tears, threatening the young woman. She stood her ground, explaining she barely even greeted the man, but jealousy is louder than the truth. The compound turned against her even more aggressively. One evening, a group of neighborhood girls confronted her near the gate, accusing her of thinking she was the only fine person in Nigeria. The confrontation turned physical until the gate man intervened. She went home that night with trembling hands, not from fear, but from hurt. Surprisingly, Kunle, the quiet, gentle new tenant, began helping her. He saw her wiping blood from her arm and offered first aid. For the first time, she let someone in. He didn't ask questions, he didn't judge. And for the first time since she moved in, she did not feel alone. The compound noticed she and Kunle were becoming closer. The women quickly labeled her a man snatcher. The men began treating Kunle with tension and jealousy. Yet, she remained calm. Kunle told her, "You don't owe them anything." She replied softly, "I know, but I owe myself peace." One morning, she fainted while buying vegetables. Kunle rushed her to the nearest clinic. The doctor said she needed rest and something else, but he didn't say it in front of Kunle. The compound speculated wildly. Pregnancy, secret illness, heartbreak. The truth was far from their imaginations. With her weakness now obvious, Mama Ife gloated. Beauty cannot save her now. The compound women laughed, discussing her downfall. But Kunle defended her publicly, calling out their cruelty. It shocked everyone. One evening, she returned home to find her door smeared with charcoal and insults written on the wall. Someone had vandalized her space. She broke down for the first time, sobbing quietly as she cleaned the walls. Kunle helped her in silence. That night, she made a decision. She would tell them the truth. She requested a compound meeting. Shocked, they gathered, mostly eager for the new drama. She stood before them, thinner than before, her beauty dimmed by stress, yet her voice calm. "I think it's time you heard my story," she began. Murmurs rippled. Even Mama Ife kept quiet. She revealed she moved here not because she was running from a man, but because she was running from grief. Her younger sister had died months earlier. They were extremely close. "She looked just like me," she whispered, "and people always compared us." For the first time, the compound saw sadness behind her beauty. She explained she wasn't proud. She simply didn't know how to socialize anymore. Crowds made her anxious. Eyes on her made her relieve her sister's death. Her journal? It was her sister's. She read it daily to stay connected. The compound began to shift uncomfortably. Their judgment suddenly felt heavy. She revealed the man in the SUV was her sister's fiancé. They had been planning a wedding before the tragedy. He checks on me because I'm the only family he has left of her, she explained. Not a politician, not a sugar daddy, just a grieving man. Even the men in the compound lowered their heads. She told them she fainted because she had been dealing with stress-induced anemia, worsened by isolation, grief, and the hostility in the compound. The doctor had warned her to avoid emotional stress, but this compound had given her nothing but pain. Then, she revealed the secret that silenced the compound completely. I moved here because I didn't want to be treated like I was fragile. I wanted to start life again, somewhere no one knew me. They realized her pride was actually pain, her arrogance was trauma. Her mystery was a broken heart trying to heal. The gossipers, insult throwers, and rumor spreaders bowed their heads. The guilt was heavy. Even Mama Ife had no words. For once, she saw her reflection, and it wasn't pretty. The children moved closer to her, hugging her legs. She smiled for the first time in weeks. From that day, the compound changed. The women apologized, the men apologized. People offered meals, help, company. Children visited her often. She became part of the community, not because of her beauty, but because of her heart. She forgave them easily. Pain makes people act out, she said. Mama Ife surprised everyone by offering her homemade soup. You're like a daughter to us, she said gently. It was awkward, but sincere. The young woman accepted it with a warm smile. Healing had begun. Kunle and the young woman grew closer. Their bond wasn't forced. It grew naturally from kindness and understanding. She felt safe with him, and he cherished her. For the first time in months, she laughed freely. Months later, she stood outside during compound cleaning day, chatting freely with the others. The compound no longer saw her beauty as a threat, but as part of a soul they had come to love. Her secret had changed them, her pain had taught them compassion, and her healing became their healing too. She looked at the compound, the once hostile place that was now her family, and whispered, I think I'm ready to live again.